Hey guys, James again with TFBTV, and I'm a very lucky man to have these ladies in my life. I've got an H&K MP5 and a SIG MPX, and today I'm doing a follow-up video to the top 5 reasons the MPX is better video. Today we're talking about the top 5 reasons the H&K MP5 is better. Now, in my opinion, I think the H&K MP5 is the crowd favorite. I mean, look at that silhouette. It's iconic. It's a beautiful gun, it's well engineered, well made, and proven. So there's definitely a few things that the old MP5 does better than the newer MPX. Now I'm going to start with kind of a low impact plus of the H&K MP5, and that is collectability. There is a lot of fun to be had just by owning an H&K MP5. Finding the parts, scrounging them up, selling your parts, trading parts with other people. These guns are steeped in history. They've been made in many countries across many continents. You've got, of course, the original German H&K MP5s. You've got the MKE, the Turkish guns. You've got POF, the Pakistani Ordnance Factory guns. You've even got some Greek MP5s, so it kind of makes things fun. So this gun started its life out as a German H&K MP5 parts kit. I purchased an MKE flat back in the day, probably around 10 years ago, back when you couldn't get H&K flats, and the closest thing you could get was an imported MKE Turkish flat. So I paid probably $400 or $450 for this flat 10 years ago. And now on the back, I've got a POF, or a Pakistani Ordnance Factory, collapsible stock. Now, even though I've got a German parts kit, a Turkish receiver, a Pakistani buttstock, this is still an all H&K gun. It was all made on H&K tooling. And again, that's what makes the MP5 so awesome. It's steeped in history. It's fun to collect things for them. It's fun to find parts. It's fun to barter for parts. And you don't have that with the MPX, which is right now kind of a soulless tool, as opposed to the MP5, which is not only a very functional tool, but it's full of history and full of tradition. Related to that, parts availability. Now, I don't know how many H&K MP5s they've made since the 60s, but I'm willing to bet it's around a buttload. You go to Europe, what do the cops carry if they've got a subgun? H&K MP5. You go to Mexico, I was just in Mexico City. These guys had some brand new H&K MP5s, and some of the police there had some of the oldest beat up H&K MP5s, probably some of the first ones to roll off the line, finished, completely taken off of them. So the point is, there are a lot of these guns out there. They've been made for a long time, so it's easy to find parts for them. Now for the MPX, if you want to get parts, where do you go? Well, you have to go to SIG. But that said, if SIG decided to shut down the MPX tomorrow, you'd be out of luck because they've only been making it for a couple of years now. Now compare that to the MP5, which has a deep pool of guns out there to draw from. Now for number 3, I'm going to call it the H&K trademarks. You've got some features that are unique to the H&K roller locking guns, and in particular, the H&K MP5. For example, you have the tri-lug adapter on the muzzle end of the gun, and in my opinion, this is one of the best, if not the best way to affix and remove a muzzle device. You've got the H&K diopter sights. These are circle within a circle sights with 4 settings, and in my opinion, they're some of the best sights out there. Using concentric circles has been found to scientifically be more intuitive and to decrease target acquisition time versus standard post and peep sights. Some of you out there may know that the H&K MP5 and also the P7 pistol have fluted chambers that are supposed to assist in extraction. You've also got the H&K charging handle. Who doesn't love a nice H&K slap every now and then? It's a robust charging handle. A lot of people like charging on the left side of the gun, and many people, myself included, think it's superior to the T charging handle in the AR-15, or if you're a right-handed shooter, having to go over or under in order to charge, like the AK-47, for example. Then you also have the paddle mag release, a very convenient way of releasing your magazine, and cool as hell. And finally, the H&K clips and loops for the sling. For slinging up the MP5, it feels like it's just wrong if you aren't using H&K clips. And now these H&K clips have actually gone mainstream. You'll see them on a lot of people's AR-15 rifles and slings. The MP5 is also more shootable. That, in my opinion, is a big advantage that it has over the MPX, but it's kind of a two-way street. The MPX is about a pound lighter than the mostly steel MP5, but the MP5's weight and the factory trigger, much better than the MPX trigger, a lot smoother. You're really getting a more shootable gun, especially when you pair that with either a red dot sight, this is a Seymour, or those concentric circles. So that said, I guess if I was gonna shoot a match with one out of the box stock, or if I was gonna shoot one fully automatic, which I have, I've shot the MP5 on several occasions fully automatic, eminently controllable. So it's a very shootable gun. It's much more shootable, in my opinion, than an out-of-the-box MPX. And finally, the number one reason the H&K MP5 is better than the SIG MPX is perhaps the most obvious and the strongest reason, and that is because it is a proven design. This gun came about in the 60s. The operating system was borrowed from the H&K G3, which had been around since the 50s, so the Germans already knew that it was going to work right out of the gate. In fact, the German government, always faithful to H&K, adopted the MP5 only 2 years later for use by the German Federal Police, the Border Guard, and the military. The MP5 was somewhat obscure for the next 15 years, and then you know what happens next. Operation Nimrod, 1980. The British SAS stormed the Iranian embassy in London, and the SAS commandos got posterized with some very choice photographs that would make Chuck Norris cream his pants, and they're all cradling the H&K MP5. After that, boom, instant success. Every SWAT team in America wanted an H&K MP5, even the SEALs and Delta Force wanted some of that sweet German steel. As I mentioned earlier in the video, it started being produced under contract in Greece, Turkey, Mexico, France, Switzerland by B&T, Great Britain, and Iran even. 50 years later, the H&K MP5 is still being produced and still being used by military and police forces around the globe. And in fact, the MP5 isn't necessarily declining because of obsolescence, but really it's more because the short-barreled rifle caliber carbine like the M4, the MK18, etc., those types of platforms are becoming much more popular, and now a lot of end users believe that shooting an intermediate rifle caliber out of a very small platform, like a PDW-sized gun or an SMG-sized gun, far surpasses the usefulness of the pistol caliber personal defense weapon or submachine gun. So the H&K MP5 versus the M4 might have to wait for another video, but for purposes of today's video, the MP5 versus the MPX, there's no question that the MP5 is one of the most proven designs still in common use today, at least as far as submachine guns go. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed part 2 of the MPX versus the MP5. And stay tuned for part 3, 5 reasons why the MP5 and the MPX both kind of suck. As usual, thank you to our sponsors, Ventura Munitions, and if you guys are looking for some pretty cool SMGs, be sure to check out ProxyBid. Thank you guys so much. Please support us on our Patreon channel. We're getting skinned by YouTube. So if you, even $1 a month helps. Check us out on Patreon. Guys, I'll check you out next week. Take care.